bish bash bosh. Water mixed with
Sharp speed on.
morning sticks. Get up, wake up, start your day today. Right now, same as usual, every day, Saturday morning, we're gonna put the work in, get the daily sunlight, vitamin D, change your life. I can't, tell you guys how much this is like the best thing for everybody every morning. But anyway, I gotta bang out these press ups. Let's do it. Come on. Right, we're gonna jump in the Skoda VRS today, and we're gonna be talking about 5 bad driving habits to what is gonna be ruining your car. Let's jump in and drive. The first thing that is damaging your car whilst driving is resting your hand on the gear lever. That's one of the most bad habits that we're all doing on a daily basis, not knowing that we are wrecking and breaking the transmission, which will cost us a massive fortune because we're gonna have to get it replaced by the garage. Not knowing that it's only because you rest your hand on the gear lever whilst driving. We'll be driving casually, going on a summer holiday with your family or with your friends, and this is what you do, what I just did then. Resting your hand, it's natural. What happens is, whilst driving, the gear selector itself is getting worn out, and most importantly, the synchros are getting worn because something is leaning on the gear lever and you don't know. And I'm gonna show you guys like how bad it really is. Wow, the sun is on our side this morning. Come on, I'm just resting my hand like that. Just a little bit of pushing left or up or down. I can feel those synchros and the gear selector getting damaged. Not knowing that just resting your hand in the gear lever whilst driving was what was damaging the transmission all this time. We can change it. I'll put your hand on the steering wheel like this, or put your left hand out like this. So as a safety driver, you put both hands on the steering wheel. It's a hard thing to do. Bad habits are hard to kill, but we have to do it if we want the transmission to survive. Moving on to the next one. I see a lot of people, when they see potholes, they do absolutely nothing and drive over it. And I myself have to see the wheels go bish bash bosh. And you can see the whole subframe and the shock and the tie rod is taking all that impact. Bang! It may look like it's doing nothing, and oh, your car's designed for that. It's not. It's not designed to go over a pothole and take all that impact. And over time, what will happen is, I know somebody, because I'm breaking an FN2 Type R, somebody was buying the rear subframe. I was going to scrap the car, and they really needed it because brand new. It was costing them an arm and leg like £500–600 for the rear subframe beam. I asked them what caused it. Yeah, you must have smashed into a curb or been to an accident. And they said their son drove over a pothole. Would you believe it? They drove over a pothole and they needed a complete rear subframe. Unbelievable. And like I said, in the end, it cost them probably £400 because the labour of changing the rear subframe alone is £300 job. It's not an easy job. I'll show you a video of me doing it. If it was a brand new rear subframe, it would have cost them with labour over £1,000. Driving over a single pothole is true story. And like I said, if you see a pothole, if you look in the mirrors quickly, just dodge it like this. If you see a pothole there, just go like this. It's absolutely fine. You'd be surprised every single day. You are more or less, you're gonna hit a pothole, but try to minimize the amount of potholes because somebody might be driving over 10 potholes a day and they don't even realize it, not knowing that over time the springs itself are broke, or the rear subframe has starting to bend, or the tie rods is starting to knock, CV joints, you name it. You blame it on the car's wear and tear itself, not knowing that it was over the potholes. Such a bad habit that we have, but we can minimize it by dodging all the potholes. Like that one there, dodge it, boom. We can blame the country, why they're not fixing it, and a nasty pothole there. But you can, there's nothing that they're not going to fix it there and then. It's our choice that we make to dodge the pothole like that as fast as possible and minimize the further damage or wear and tear we do on the car. Moving on to my next point, standing water. I see a lot of people, they must like love it or enjoy it. When there's lots of water or puddle, they'll drive over it and splash, you know, like it's gonna do nothing to their car. Lo and behold, all that debris, water mixed with little stones and muck, dirt, that flies into your car, your underbody, and goes through the little gaps, goes through in between the arch and the arch cover, and that is what's causing rust. That is what's costing your car so much money in the long run. You may think it's only a splash of water, it's not going to hurt the car much. Over time, if you had two cars, that's why a lot of people don't touch cars in the seaside, or a lot of people don't touch cars up north. Then later you will see the consequences when you go for an MOT and they say, oh, you got rust surface, minimal corrosion, instead of a green pass. You go, how's that? This car's, it's only been a couple of years I had this car, or like 1 year. Like I said, if you just try and drive away from the standing water, you're good. Moving on to my next point. This one's a big one, and it's basically tire pressure. I'm a victim of this myself. I don't ever try and check the tire pressure, but we should be checking the tire pressure every week. That's my recommendation. When you drive over speed bumps, or when you're driving in the roundabouts, you know, air will come out eventually, and that's why you always got to keep it at what the set level is. I don't know what the set level is for everybody, but you know, let's just say 35 psi or 33 psi. If the lower the tire pressure on the car is, the more that tire can't handle the weight of the car. The tire that's got like 22 psi is taking all that weight, and yes, it's good for a race car when you go on a drag strip to spin the tires up and get as much grip as possible. But on a normal day-to-day basis, when you're driving, that tire is like rolling and it's spreading, and you will see, that's why sometimes you will see a car tire, the outer threads are worn out, and the outer threads are formed when the tire PSI is low. That's why it's so important. Like I said, it's ruining the cost of tires. And nowadays, today, I know somebody with a BMW, it's like a modern BMW, they had to spend over £1,500 on tires. No, it's not because they did burnouts and they were drifting. It's just, like I said, certain tires, the PSI was low. It was like 25 PSI, 28 PSI. You think it's perfectly fine. You won't even notice the difference of how low it is until you plug in the tire pressure on the petrol station and you say, oh my god, it's 20 PSI. You won't know, like, you can't tell when you see it. It's blind for the naked eye. The more the PSI, like even if you do 40 PSI, yes, it's not good for winter because of the grip and stuff, but your tires will last a lot more longer. This is like my final point, and I'm gonna combine this point with engine braking and clutch. When driving, just leaving it in gear, 4th gear or 3rd gear, after releasing the clutch slowly, that is slowing the car down. Look at 30, 35, 34, 30 miles per hour. Build up speed again, 40 miles per hour, drop in 3rd gear, slowly let go of the clutch. Don't let the clutch take a hit, too much of a hit. 30, 40, 35, 34, 33, 32, 30. And that is what you call engine braking. And like I said, you can leave it in 4th gear. You know, it's slowing itself down, it's going down to 30. What you don't want to do is 4th gear and then drop it into like a high gear 2nd and do the clutch, bam! That's going to damage the clutch over time. If you're in a race car, in a racetrack, you gotta do that to slow the car down. But on a normal day-to-day basis, try to avoid doing those things where you're dropping the gear down so much so. But that's why, like I said, you gotta learn how to rev match, because when you rev match, you avoid the clutch taking all that power, all that torque, and then the car like jumps. So like I said, these little key skills like rev matching and learning how to do engine braking when driving around the city every day, it will increase the longevity of the clutch and the transmission, because you're being nice. It's not taking all that, you know, power and all that, you know, sudden move and jumps. Like if I'm in the 3rd gear and I drop into 2nd and I release the clutch fast, see that jump? That is what's going to wreck the transmission and the clutch over time. We don't notice it. That's why, you know what, some people might not know this, but they say, oh yeah, you drive a car from an elderly person because it's had one owner, low miles, and that car is better to buy than a person that drives the car all the time from a young person. It's actually wrong. I've actually experienced this when I bought a car from an elderly person. The clutch and the gearbox was knackered because when they drove the car,
Sharp speed on it.
biting point is slow and they burn the clutch and the transmission, the way they drive. We've seen it before. And that, like I said, when you buy a car from an elderly person, be warned the transmission and clutch is gonna have a lot of wear and tear, and it'll have a high biting point. So but then when you buy a car for a young person that knows how to do these things, or myself, I know that this car will, the clutch and transmission will last for a very long time because of the way I'm driving. I've never had a car in my ownership for many years where I've had to change a clutch. Only once, and that was the 700 brake horsepower Skyline clutch when I was launching and drifting every single time I was driving it. That's the only time, and that car is made to do that. That is like my conclusion. If you have any more information on bad driving habits, share it and drop it in the comment section down below for people to read, so we can raise that awareness, because you'd be surprised with the amount of people that don't know about these little bad habits that are ruining the longevity of the car. So hope you guys enjoyed that quick little video Saturday morning. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out and start today. Peace.